Alright, let's talk about the next couple of years in gaming because honestly, the lineup is kind of insane. We've got open world RPGs, horror, action, remakes, and a few things we genuinely know almost nothing about. And I'm going to run through all of them. Let's get into it.
So we kick things off with Project TAL. And this one is interesting because it doesn't show you much. And somehow that works in its favor. What we've seen is dark, atmospheric, and visually stunning. It feels like it's drawing from Eastern mythology in a way that Western games rarely do well, and early footage suggests the team knows exactly what kind of tone they're going for. There's not a ton of confirmed info, but the art direction alone has people paying attention. This is one of those games where you watch the trailer and go, I don't fully know what this is, but I need it.
Next up, the Godslayer. And right off the bat, the title tells you a lot. This is a game about confronting things that are supposed to be untouchable, and the combat looks like it leans hard into that power fantasy. Think massive scale, brutal encounters, and visuals that seem to be pushing what the current generation of hardware can actually do. The world design has this mythological weight to it, like every environment is telling you a story before you even interact with it. If the gameplay holds up to what we've seen in terms of visuals, this could be a serious moment for action RPGs. Okay, yeah. The Witcher 4. We have to talk about it. CD Projekt Red has been pretty measured about what they've revealed, but what they have shown is jaw-dropping. The shift to Unreal Engine 5 is immediately obvious. The lighting, the material detail, the sheer density of these environments. What's also notable is that we're following a new protagonist this time, which is a big creative swing. There's going to be skepticism, and that's fair, but there's also a track record here. This is one of the most anticipated games of the decade, and based on early looks, the world they're building feels genuinely alive.
Blood Message is the kind of game that makes you stop scrolling. It has this very specific, almost oppressive visual style. Dark, wet, cinematic. The premise seems to involve investigation, violence, and some kind of mystery that unravels in a way that might not be comfortable to sit with. It feels influenced by the best of Asian horror cinema, and the environmental storytelling in what we've seen already feels deliberate and layered. Not a lot of games have this particular texture to them. It's sitting in my watch extremely closely list.
我还是想再试一次。今日我们所流的血，是为了把大唐带回来。我们必须在破城之前把宁带出来。 等着我。
阿娘，阿娘，
阿爷，我将追随杀出一举。
去长安，你这是让他们去送死！
输赢成败，皆如沙上之塔，风来即散，为众生之苦，长漫于天地之间。
回家吧，这一切毫无意义。天命所归，我才是大唐。到头来，除了死更多人，什么都不会改变。
没有我的帮助，你走不出这片沙漠。如果神不肯拯救我们的部族，那就让我来。
阿娘，等着我。
是对信使。
No law is going for a different energy entirely. It's chaotic, it's loud, and it seems to revel in that. The world looks like a lawless open sandbox, where the rules are whatever you decide they are. Think sprawling urban decay, faction conflict, and moment-to-moment unpredictability. Graphically, there's a real grit to it that suits the tone. The question with a game like this is always whether the systems can actually sustain the chaos or if it falls apart after the first few hours. But the visual identity is there. It knows what it wants to be. Exodus is one of the most genuinely exciting things on this entire list. You've got Matthew McConaughey in a central role, which sounds gimmicky until you actually look at the footage, and then it just makes sense. The narrative seems deeply invested in themes of time, loss, and the cost of leaving something behind. Visually, it's doing something that feels grounded and vast at the same time. The team behind it has serious credentials, and this feels like a game that wants to say something. We don't get a lot of those. I'm paying close attention.
After Black Myth, Wukong essentially set the internet on fire. The follow-up is already one of the most watched games in development. Jong Koi is a fascinating figure from Chinese folklore, a vanquisher of demons, a complex and often dark character, and the visual language that game science developed with Wukong feels tailor-made for this subject matter. If they bring even a fraction of that same graphical fidelity and art direction, this is going to be stunning to look at. The weight of expectation is massive, but so far, everything suggests they're not slowing down.
Look, we basically have to include it. GTA 6 is the most anticipated game in the history of gaming. That's not hyperbole, it's just kind of what the numbers say. What Rockstar has shown looks unreal. Vice City rendered at a level of detail that's almost disorienting. 2 protagonists. a world that seems to breathe in real time. The lighting alone in that trailer had people frame by frame analyzing parking lot reflections. Whenever this actually comes out, it's going to be a cultural event. That's the only way to describe it. Capcom bringing back Anamusha is something a lot of people didn't expect, and the reaction has been almost universally emotional. The original series meant a lot to a generation of PlayStation players, and this new entry looks like it's respecting that legacy while clearly being built for modern hardware. The swordplay looks precise and brutal. The atmosphere is dense with feudal Japan aesthetics, and the demon design is exactly what you'd want from this franchise. If the gameplay captures what made the originals feel so tactile, this is going to resonate deeply. Sorrowos is from Housemark, who made Returnal, so expectations are appropriately high. The visual style is bold and alien, the kind of thing that immediately signals you're in a singular creative space. It looks like it's iterating on what made Returnal work, while expanding into something bigger in scope. There's a weight to the environments that suggests a deeper narrative this time around. And graphically, Housemark just doesn't make ugly games. Whatever Sorrowos ends up being, it's going to look extraordinary.
A new Tomb Raider is always an event, and Legacy of Atlantis seems to be going bigger in every direction. The environments look stunning. Water, stone, ancient architecture with that specific Tomb Raider scale where you feel genuinely small. There's clearly an emphasis on exploration and puzzle design alongside the combat, which is exactly what the series does best when it's firing on all cylinders. Lara feels grounded and capable without being invincible, and visually, this might be the best the franchise has ever looked.
Tides of Annihilation has one of the more arresting visual concepts on this list, a flooded, ancient world where mythology has literally risen to the surface. The creature design is wild. The color palette is unlike most action games out there, and the combat looks fluid and dynamic. There's a scale to the encounters that feels almost mythological, which suits the setting perfectly. Not the most talked about game on this list yet, but it has the look of something that could genuinely surprise people. Control had one of the most distinctive visual identities in recent memory, that brutalist architecture, those reality-bending effects, the layered symbolism, and Control Resonance seems to be expanding on all of that. The atmosphere looks just as dense and strange, and the way light and physics interact in the environments is doing things that still feel ahead of the curve. Remedy knows how to build a world that feels like it has rules you'll spend the entire game trying to understand. Returning to that space is something a lot of people have been waiting for. A new Bond game is exciting, but 007 First Light has something extra going for it. It's apparently an original story following a new agent, which means they're not constrained by adapting existing material. The early looks are stylish in exactly the way you'd hope. Slick environments, tense close-quarters action, and a visual language that feels informed by the best of the Craig-era films. If they nail the balance between stealth, action, and the kind of composed coolness that defines Bond as a character, this could be the definitive spy game.
I'm not loving the odds.
I've had worse.
Well, in that case,
Well, what are we waiting for? No sign of 009.
We need to inform M.
No time. I'm going after him. Make him call off the attack.
Are you out of your mind?
I'll be careful. He'd bin the phone.
Go to the security room, first floor.
and you are?
Rob Minkley.
He's with me.
Come on, Moneypenny. If I lose the trail, we'll never know who they're working for. Oi, you lads got a faulty coffee machine? I hope I'm not interrupting anything.
You're not. Damien, meet.
Bond. James Bond.
If 009 slips through our fingers, we're the last line of defense.
Someone just tried to kill me.
Tell me you caught him.
sage advice?
Play nice.
Always.
And we close out with Valor Mortise, which might be the game on this list doing the most graphically ambitious thing. The aesthetic sits in this specific space between medieval warfare and something genuinely supernatural. There's decay, there's scale, there's weight to everything. The combat looks punishing in a way that rewards patience and learning, and the environments feel like they're all telling a story of a world that's already been through something catastrophic. It's dark, it's dense, and it's exactly the kind of game that finds a devoted audience and never lets go of them.